Looking at Nvidia here on the daily chart, what are we seeing? Well, this candlestick we just placed in here today, although green and up around $2.09 from yesterday's close, still some indecision in here as we placed a doji. So you do have this long upper wick in here. That's only because after Powell spoke, we had that nice pop in the overall markets. But then we had that pullback coming back down to that 117.52 close after we hit about 120 and a half. It was really 120.45 of the high that we placed in here today. So where does that put us? Well, we're kind of sitting on this 116.50. It's this kind of weird area of support where it's really not necessarily a big support for us, but it's just more of like an area, right? So basically between 16 and 116 and 117, that's kind of your whole area of where support is being made. But really, it's kind of this 9-day EMA we're kind of sitting on too. So kind of take both of those into consideration. You see the 9-day EMA is 116.9. We have our trend line here about 116.14. So anywhere in between that kind of dollar range. If we're in there, not just kind of sit on your hands, kind of wait for a confirmation either way or what's going to happen. Below the 116s, it's a long way down here to the 109s, but above 117, we have to find something in here for support or for resistance, right? So it could be this high in here, the 122s. It could be the high in here of this 121.88s. Really, that whole area could be a little bit of area of concern for us. That's what we placed on Monday and on Friday's trading sessions. But really, we're kind of more concerned about this 200 SMA here. That's currently up at the 127 areas. And your big area of resistance is going to be the 130s. And that's more or less where our upper trend line is in here. So our upper trend line, you can see on the daily, because of this mess right here that happened, this big pullback here in mid-February, now it's going to take us longer to get to the our upper trend lines here, right? So, and before it was pretty quick, right? And that's because volatility was still relatively kind of sucked out, and then there was still kind of some hope. But after this big pullback here, especially this huge red candle in here, 135 of a high and a low of 120, that kind of changed everything. So your lows got lower and then your highs got lower, but they also took longer to reach to. So even though we're only about $13 off from this 130, it could take a while for us to get up to there. But we'll kind of have to wait and see, right? So it's definitely news based in here. This market could change and swing in an instant. But until then, we're just going to chalk up this 122 level as a nice area of resistance for us. But after that, it's going to be the 200 SMA. That's our main area of concern. And then we'll worry about the 130s and this upper trend line in here. As we mentioned before, support that 116 to 117 area below there, a long way down to 109. Below that, it's going to be this 103 area down in here. Now, your IV rank in here is at 26. You have right around a $3.50 expected move by this Friday. If you go all the way out to April, right around an $11 expected move. So we're going to see what happens in here in Nvidia. Crazy indecision candle in here on a nice green day. So let's see what happens tomorrow. We're going to gap up and down. How far are we going to run up into the 120s? Are we going to reject the 120s and kind of come back down? But definitely, if we're gapping down below the 116s, we got to look for the 109s first before we start climbing up any higher in here. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you're interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.